We have breaking news, and it's very important that we make mention of the fact that with all that continues to change in the world of cruising, I thought it prudent not to necessarily add every bit of the updates because they were so fluid and continually changing. But these two new updates that I want to speak of are of such that they will impact a large cross section of travelers and they might have a certain amount of permanency. And the first one I speak of is in regards to MSC Seashore, specifically because we do have group space blocked for 2022 for the Heroes Weekend sailing, the Jamaican Heroes Weekend sailing. And I am also invited to be on the inaugural for 2021. One of the concerns that had me a little bit spaced out, for want of a better term, was the fact that up until last week, only fully vaccinated residents of the USA were allowed to be sailing on the seashore. Well, the great news is, as of yesterday, that has changed. That has changed in terms of the news that has come forth. And the news is basically saying, as of November 8th, international fully vaccinated sailors can now sail out of the US on the MSC product. And that is absolutely great news because now we can move forward. I never doubted it for a moment, but the timeline towards it had me greatly concerned. And this is just in time for the seashore as she journeys over to do her inaugural from the port of Miami in the month of November, next month. So yeah, full steam ahead. MSC Seashore will take to the seas. And the MSC product is so important because it has the facility to transport large numbers of Europeans and other nationals through their sail or cruise and fly program into the US. And it is such a melting pot of languages, cultures, ethnicities. It is a wonderful place for global intervention. When I sailed on the Divina with my son, I felt as though we had been transported into the melting pot that I learned to love spending my student exchange year in Europe. And I was so happy that even though it was 7 short days, he got a taste of what that was like. So yippee! The seashore and all the other MSC ships sailing out of the States, out of Miami, out of Orlando as well. We've got the Divina and we've got the Seaside, the Meraviglia at different times will be sailing from these North American ports on the East Coast. We are now good to go. And of course, on the heels of those good news is the other bit of good news that came into my email as well, courtesy of Celebrity Cruise Lines. And we all love Dandra, and Dandra, being the Senior Vice President of Sales for that cruise line, made the wonderful announcement that all vaccines, mixed and meaning 2 different shots from 2 different doses, will now be permitted as acceptable for sailing on all Celebrity ships. Woohoo! Great news. The article started by referencing the Healthy at Sea panel as well as the partnership with the CDC, and that combination has brought together the announcement that they were pleased to make. And in essence, it is saying that for all sailings, including US and global departures, the CDC will now recognize as fully vaccinated all guests with a mixed series of any 2 of the following vaccines taken within a minimum of 28 days between doses. And those are Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, Sinovac, or Sinopharm. Hope I got that right. So basically, for those persons who in the past were denied boarding because their first and second doses were not from the same brand, as at now, the CDC has relieved that restriction. And so sailing is a fully vaccinated event, and whether you have your 2 doses from the same brand or 2 separate brands, you will be accepted as being fully vaccinated and able to cruise.